Hi, this is David Lopez of Deal Ministries. Today I want to talk to you guys about this financial storm that is happening here in America. My brothers and sisters, as you guys probably have heard, many people in the news have been speculating, saying that the dollar will be collapsing here pretty soon. People are pointing to February 2016 as the time when the dollar will collapse. But for the most part, we have to be very wary, very cognizant of who we trust nowadays. I always advise people to do their own research, to come to their own conclusions, and find answers to their own questions. I want to read from Matthew chapter 21 verses 12 and 13. Matthew chapter 21 verses 12 and 13. The word of the Lord says, "And Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but you have made it into a den of thieves." Jesus fought against the Jewish leaders at that time because they were basically turning the house of worship of the Lord into their own personal piggy bank. They were exploiting the people of Israel, the children of Israel. They were exploiting them of their money, of their little belongings. They were basically taking that from them. The same thing is happening in America, my brothers and sisters. What we saw in 2008 is a repetition of how men can be very greedy, very corrupt. When it comes to becoming more wealthy, more powerful, men will do whatever it takes, even sell their soul to the devil in order to achieve that what they want. Something that I want to talk to you guys a little bit about is quantitative easing. Now, many of you probably have not heard of quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is basically a monetary policy that the central bank uses in order to basically jumpstart an economy. And that is the reason I always implore people to basically do their own research, to know what's going on in current events. Come to your own conclusions. Answer your own questions instead of just listening to John Doe over here or Lindsey Graham or whoever it is. Do your own research, and that way you are able to better educate yourself, educate others, and know what is soon going to be happening here in America. Now, quantitative easing is something that the central bank has been using in order to jumpstart the economy. They basically push a button, and more money is basically printed at that juncture. So, my brothers and sisters, the question is, has quantitative easing actually helped? Now, when we look at what happened back in November of 2008, when the first round of quantitative easing took place, we see that it really did not help the economy in the long run. And many people in the news outlets or mainstream media have basically made you think that the economy is much stronger than what it really is. In reality, it's not. We have to be very, very careful. In November of 2008, the Federal Reserve announced the first quantitative easing, which was $600 billion. 4 months later, the feds felt that even more cash was necessary, so they upped it to $1.8 trillion. The question was, did quantitative easing help? No, not really. It may have helped stabilize the economy in the short term, but unemployment was still very staggeringly high. Monthly U.S. home sales were at all-time record lows. Businesses were borrowing less money, individuals were borrowing less money, and stores were closing left and right. So we saw that this really did not help as many people were speculating. The sad truth, my brothers and sisters, is that the Federal Reserve is not trying to build an economic recovery on solid financial principles. Rather, what the Federal Reserve envisions is an economic recovery based on a new debt creation. Because that's what they've been trying to do. Raising the debt ceiling, trying to spend more money, throwing money at the problem, thinking that that is going to basically be the solution to our economic woes. It has not helped at all, because we have seen our debt continue to climb. Now it stands at $18 trillion. And by next year, it's going to go well over $20 trillion. So, my brothers and sisters, that has really not helped our economy at all. Many people think that it has, but in reality, it has not. It has actually worsened the economy. Take, for example, total U.S. public and private debt levels have climbed. Total U.S. public and private debt levels have climbed to a staggering level of 327% of the GDP. Therefore, humongous debt levels and massive capital imbalances have set up the stock market for its third major collapse since the year 2000. Investors should proceed with extreme caution now that the warning signs have been explained. Brothers and sisters, this is telling us that something big is going to happen. Our economic system has been put into life support. It is in life support right now as we speak. Consumer confidence is at a very all-time low, my brothers and sisters. Many people make it seem that people are still going out for Christmas shopping. People are buying left and right. But what is the root of the problem? As we all know, our money has no worth. It is backed by nothing. It is made out of thin air. Since 1913, my brothers and sisters, the dollar has been losing its value. Each year, it's actually gone down. Nowadays, the dollar has lost its value up to 97%. It is worth nothing, my brothers and sisters. It is worth pennies. The dollar has been losing its value for many, many years now. It has lost more than 97% of its value, but yet many people are saying that our economy is robust, it's strong, it's in the grand scheme of things, my brothers and sisters, we have to be doing our own research. We cannot be listening to John Doe over here or Lindsay Sue over there. We need to do our own research and know what's happening. There are signs and markers every single day that is telling us that there is a financial storm that is taking place in America now. This bubble is grown exponentially, just like the housing market bubble back in 2008 finally exploded, my brothers and sisters. The same thing is going to happen. The people in the government are basically trying to wait for the perfect storm to hit in order for them to take control, in order for them to usher in martial law. That is their ultimate goal. My brothers and sisters, I wouldn't be surprised if a big catastrophe were to take place of epic proportions, and the elections in 2016, the presidential elections, would be suspended, and Obama stays in office. I wouldn't be surprised. That is what they're basically aiming for. An EMP attack, a nuclear attack, the dollar collapsing, the financial system collapsing, civil unrest, whatever it might be. They're waiting for the perfect storm to take place in order for them to control the populace, the population. Brothers and sisters, we have to be paying attention to these different things and not be deceived by them anymore. It is time for us to open our eyes to the reality of the world that we live in. We are living in the final days of Earth's history. Jesus is coming back very soon, and the devil is desperate, like a roaring lion, trying to see whom he may devour. May God bless you, my brothers and sisters. I pray that you guys can make preparations, whether it's food, water, whatever it might be. Make the necessary preparations to be able to sustain yourselves and your families for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, whatever it might be. We just don't know what's going to happen, my brothers and sisters. The people in power are working for the devil, and the devil hates humanity. He wants to see humanity destroyed, and that is the reason I say it is imperative, my brothers and sisters, that in the grand scheme of things, we are able to be prepared for these things that might happen. We don't know when they're going to happen, but if they do happen, we at least can look back and see what happened in 2008, what happened in 2001, what has been happening in the last couple of years. Obviously, the United States not being backed by anything, the dollar not being backed by anything. Know that this is soon to happen, my brothers and sisters. May God bless you and give you the wisdom that you need in order for you to be able to prepare yourselves and your families. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 reads, "My people perish from a lack of knowledge, but I pray, my brothers and sisters, that you don't." May God bless you in this new year 2016.